Our story began where our protagonist has to live in Dungeon Town. By the time he became aware of his surrounding, there were already many adults called explorers around him, and the town thrived daily thanks to the explorers. The explorers delved into dangerous dungeons filled with traps and ferocious monsters. Explorers received assignments from the explorers guild such as subjugating monsters in the dungeon, collecting and trading acquired items, creating maps to navigate the dungeon. They worked tirelessly to conquer dungeons. If you earn recognition and increase your explorer rank, it's not a dream to gain fame and wealth. Currently, we are now at the first floor of the dungeon. Our protagonists are simply walking. When he was looking at his stats, he doesn't seem satisfied. His name is Haruka Namiki, a level 100 rank D explorer. Upon rating, his stats improve and he can use powerful skills and magic now. So he was thinking of consistently accumulate achievements and hope his explorer rank rose up, which is supposed to happen. Haruka Namiki has unique skill of ranky measurement and calculation. Moreover, Haruka decided to ignore thinking of it since he doesn't want to regret it now. He kneeled down as he prepared to complete his mission. He used his unique skill measurement and calculation to the ground. The scan began within 30 meters radius. The system recognized the terrain as normal and ground with standard structure. The magic content has normal range. Seeing this made Haruka think the area are unusually brittle, but in this scale, he knows he can handle it alone. Haruka's task is like trap disarming, repairing brittle surfaces on lower floors, which these are simple jobs high-ranking explorers wouldn't bother with. Then the high-rankers making fun of him for doing weird things again. A long time ago, when Haruka was a kid at Dungeon Town slums, someone helped him when he was a kid that seems to be a beggar. He is wondering why this people helping him. For Haruka, helping someone like him in the slums won't benefit her. She replied that's not true, because if you help someone struggling today, the view you see tomorrow will surely brighten. That day, he was slapped by the reality. That girl is Himawari, and he wondered if she would accept him as he was right now. Out of nowhere, someone spotted him. This guy was holding two girls beside him. He knows Haruka as the legendary kid who already level 100. This girl recognized him as the infamous level 100 guy that they heard about, which Shinji agreed, and he asked to use insight to check him. The system showed up Haruka's information. Yukimura Shinji also showed his status, where he was a level 45 rank A explorer. The girl made fun of him that even he was a level 100, he's still a useless weakling, and she even B rank unlike Haruka. As he heard those words, he doesn't want to speak as he doesn't want to argue with him. He asked Shinji why he's not joining the Orochi extermination squad, as he was capable of commanding followers since the casualties are increasing lately. This made Shinji insulted from those words. He used his gravity bind against Haruka. Because of that, he got pinned down to the ground. Shinji got irritated at Haruka for daring to voice an opinion against him when he was useless and low-ranking explorer, even they were childhood friends. So he asked Haruka to stop acting so overly familiar with him, because that relation with him pisses him off. Even though Haruka was level 100, he do nothing more than a facade. Haruka wasn't even able to move a bit. Normally, upon reaching level 100, he should be able to use advance or even superior magic and skills. But for Haruka, it caps at intermediate. While his level rises faster compared to other explorers, his attack and defense stats haven't improved such since level 30. But right now, he's stuck at level 100. So he wonder why is this happening. Haruka wants to become an explorer who stand beside the person he admired. But even leveling up doesn't make him stronger, which confuses him. He is sure he is just different from the others. But even though this is the case, it was too unfair for him. Shinji found him pathetic, because at the start, Haruka used to act so high and mighty when everyone relied on him. Then he asked what would the person he admired do after seeing him like this. However, as Shinji thinks she still cares about him, it still pisses him off. Shinji goes to Haruka and took his belt bag. Haruka can't do anything even though he was eagerly want to take it back. Shinji took out the gift from the person he admired. He was surprised he still have this talisman that's supposed to protect a weakling like him. Shinji noticed some stitches, so he assumed this thing must be really important for him. Then he suddenly torn at it. Haruka was so shocked to see him doing this. Shinji told that he doesn't need anymore, while Haruka was so weak that he wasn't even able to fight for himself. Shinji throws the talisman on the ground, and he stepped it multiple times. Haruka screamed Shinji's name after doing this. Shinji held him harder as he saw Haruka getting violent. He came closer at Haruka for reminding him about trying so hard to earn recognition from his idol, but still, he stayed weak and pathetic. So Shinji advises him that this is maybe the right time to give up and die already. Haruka realized he was close to the cliff. He begs for his life at Shinji. However, Shinji told him that when he die inside a dungeon, the Explorer Guild regulations say the cause won't be investigated and also, his body won't be retrieved. He said that when they look for him, he will tell to everyone that Haruka shielded Shinji Shinji from a monster and fell of a cliff, and he then plans to give the pouch to his idol to see her reaction. But Shinji is sure that once he handed this pouch over her, she will be sad. So he wanted to gently hold her and saying these words, "Himawara, don't worry. I'm here for you," while maliciously touching her body. Haruka swore he will kill him. Shinji had enough, and he used gravity bind. He slammed Haruka to the ground. After that, Shinji was planning to use his ultimate magic to finish him off. He hoped Haruka enjoy the feeling of being crushed flat. He used his gravity bind continuously. Haruka feels like he was powerless after Shinji toying him. The ground slowly cracking as Haruka simultaneously crushed down. The girls calls Shinji's attention as the ground collapsing, which Shinji also notice. Haruka was heavily beat down at the ground. Shinji swore he will take a good care with Himawara for him. Haruka's eyes suddenly fired up with anger. He doesn't want the person he admired to get involved from his problems. He yelled so loud, ordering Shinji to stop. But Shinji doesn't want to stop and proceed to finish him off. Haruka tried to crawl up to save himself, but it was too late as Shinji crushed the cliff that causes Haruka to fall. Shinji was satisfied of what he's seeing right now, while Haruka was desperate to survive. But he knew at this rate, Himawari will end up with Shinji. He wanted the strength to defeat him. Haruka was dreaming to get stronger, but it's no use anymore. Out of nowhere, the system notified that his skill measurement and calculation activated, and he only had 18.4 seconds before to land. The system also predict there's no escape methods, and the certain death upon impact was 100% will result in his death. So the automatic remeasurement scheduled. When he saw this, he wondered why his useless skill activating on his own. Haruka was frustrated for having a skill specialized only in measurement and calculations, which absolutely useless in combat. However, as the system confirmed Haruka's death, his skill completed the measurement required to clear the current floor, and his unique skill evolved, so the state reset. And not only that, Haruka received a 1 million bonus experience. Lastly, the system notified that Haruka Namiki's level increased. Haruka's eyes suddenly widened. He grasped as he still thought he was falling. He immediately sat down. He checked his surrounding while wonder where he was. Upon observing, he noticed the hole above him, assuming this where he fall. But the thing came up in his mind was he supposed to be dead, so he wondered what's going on. He remembered everything happened before dying. Haruka slammed the ground as he was really frustrated with Shinji. He didn't thought that Shinji gone this far when he used to be mocked. Haruka noticed the talisman beside him, so he picked it up immediately. This made him realize that he needs to hurry before Shinji get into Himawari. But the problem is how he could beat him. Haruka was alone at this place, and seems no one ever reached this deep, so he was anxious. He refused being pessimistic, and he rushes to get out of here first. But as he walked, he noticed something unusual. His body doesn't feel any pain or see any scars, so he opened his status. He was startled to see his unique skill enhanced. Not only that, his level also increased by 1. His level have been stuck at level 100 since then, so he thought 100 is the upper limit. Haruka can't believe of what he see on his status right now. Out of nowhere, a lizard lurking into the shadows. It lunges towards Haruka. However, Haruka instinctively dodges it and jumps toward to his sword. As he grab it, he look for opening. He instantly strike the lizard, causing it to his demise. Haruka sheathed his sword. He noticed this monster was different, because this kind of monster wasn't from the lower floor. However, he also noticed his body feels incredibly light, like the sword was part of his body. The pains suddenly linger to his body that made him thought he got injured somewhere. The floor suddenly grumbles by the growl of a monster that shocked him. His thought was began to panic as he heard the howl, and he assumed he was in the second floor, and that noise caused by kobolds. But if he was at the third floor, it probably dire wolves. Out of nowhere, he noticed the bright light at his back. Then a blast of blaze strikes him that startled Haruka. Suddenly, a wild two-headed wolf looked like monster appear before him. Haruka immediately recognized this as Orthros, where even B rankers have died to this monster. As the Orthros approaching, he got anxious since he knew he would die again, but this time, in this monster. He can't believe he insanely dropped into a place like this. He remembered what Shinji did to him, and he doesn't want to forgive anyone trying to harm something important to him. So he swore he won't leave this unchecked. And he wants to punish Shinji of what he was about to do at Himawara. This made him realize the reason why he's still alive. The Orthros was about to strike him, but he suddenly used his skill body enhancement. His body status enhanced where he received resistance to fire, water, wind, thunder, darkness, light attributes. He doubt to his newfound skill, but he think he should be able to fight if this was real. Haruka gets serious. He then dashes towards the Orthros. The Orthros used its fire breath to stop Haruka. On the other side, there was a woman with horns noticed the noise above her, so she wondered what causes this noise. Meanwhile, Himawara suddenly stopped from walking. she felt a sudden hunch from her heart. The first thing come to her mind was Haruka. Going back to Haruka, by the help of the body enhancement, the fire attribute damage mitigated. This helps him to push the flame, even it was powerful. Haruka's status had doubled after reaching the level 101, so he knew he wouldn't been able to block this fire with just skills. So he pushed his limit and used the measurement and calculations. The countdown begins, and a timer panel showed up in front of him. But he wondered how he able to reach level 100 in the first place. The first reason in his thought was because of his effort, courage, and persistence. 10 seconds elapsed from the countdown. Haruka's clothes starts to torn as it wasn't able to keep up the heat. He made himself able to beat stronger opponents. But above all, he always observed monsters more than anyone else. 20 seconds elapsed. In his experience, monsters have unique behaviors and habits, and by observing them, he can predict their movements to some extent. Since this was the case, he finally realized the Orthros attack habit. 30 seconds elapsed. Haruka thought he can't rely on brute force. The Orthros had enough flame and began charging Haruka, but he actually waiting for this opportunity. He took his sword and he slashed its head. Total of 36 seconds elapsed and countdown ended. Haruka was able to beheaded one of its head. He was surprised to able do this. He can't believe he was able to take down a stubborn monster in only 36 seconds. For the first time, he was glad that his useless skill had finally become handy during such fights. But this time, he didn't have doubled his stats and body enhancement. He would have been completely burned alive. Suddenly, the Orthro's other head gained its consciousness. Haruka got startled as the other head charges at him, but he was too sharp and saw a chance to his sword towards the Orthros's mouth that pierced through its head. Finally, the system confirmed the Orthros has been eliminated. He lay down to gasp some air after exhaustion. The system also told him that his level increased. He was glad that he didn't let his guard down because he would be dead for sure if he does that. The system showed up once again and telling he acquired new skill. However, the screen suddenly glitches. He is surprised to see he acquired this skill. He received a skill insight that allows him to know the true name of a target. Seeing this, he think this was a basic skill explorers acquire first. This made him thought he couldn't acquired in the first place. He came up with an idea to give it a try. So Haruka casted the skill insight towards the Orthros. He thought if this Orthros at the level he assumed, he knew he might just barely make it through. But the thing most concerning for Haruka was Shinji already telling to Himawara that he was dead. So Haruka wants to hurry. Suddenly, his hand felt a sharp pain again. This was the pain just like earlier, but he had no idea what causes this. After scanning the Orthros, he was shocked of what he saw. Because the Orthros that he killed was a juvenile, that means he will encounter another problem. He immediately run away. That means there's an Orthros around here, and if that's the case, he assumed this must be the 5th floor. Upon going deeper, he heard downstream, so he think this is the safety area. He was startled as he felt a weird aura behind him. It has a strong killing intent, so he realized he's being pursued. The tile that he suddenly stepped in triggered a trap above him. He didn't hesitate to use his skill measurement and calculations. The system predicting trajectory of arrows. By the help of his skill, he was able to slash the arrows that approaching him. As he unsheathed his sword, he wants to move quickly. Haruka got startled as he warned about the high-level monster rapidly approaching him. His skill measurement and calculation also upgraded to divine insight. Haruka got startled as the system panel rapidly appearing. Finally, the system told that he need 1,500,000 experience needed for next level. The time for measurement is 3 minutes. Evaluation point calculation initiated. As Haruka getting crazy by the data flooding in his thoughts, the monster was already at his back. He turned his back, and there he saw the giant Orthros behind him, but this time, its fire is more powerful. It charges flames from its mouth. Then it hurled towards Haruka. He goes sideways to dodge it. This made him push himself to stay at the water stream. After his successful evasion, his evaluation points has added. Haruka used his skill insight. It was said this was an Orthros, but an adult just like he expected that the juvenile killed earlier had a mother nearby. The system's skill usage adds to his evaluation points. The Orthros growls. It tried to strike Haruka, but he was fast to evade it, so he was awarded again for evading. Haruka starts to have a hard time to keep up dodging. The system keeps giving him evaluation points for dodging, but Haruka slowly getting slowed. Once again the system give him evaluation points. In his thoughts, this thing keeps up, he would get killed. Also, he wondered what's the purpose announcement and the evaluation points. Seeing his current stats, he knew he wasn't able to defeat this thing. He needs a plan because if he just keep dodging, he will eventually be dead. The 3 minutes timer finally done. So the system made his evaluation points doubled. Not only that, his divine insight also concluded. The system panels keeps on going and going. Finally, Haruka became a rank A, optimized combat experience applied, and the total experience points he gained is 1,500,000. This made Haruka's level increased by 50. Haruka were surprised about what's going on. He is so confused for leveling up without even defeating the Orthros yet, and the experience points also increase abnormally that made him think it's a glitch. But he decided to ignore this for a while, as he need to deal with the Orthros first. The Orthros approaches him with demeanor. Haruka suddenly startled from someone's laugh. She said, "Seems like you made the mistake of killing the pup." Now mommy is furious, and hearing those voice made Haruka annoyed. He wondered who and why there's a woman's voice in his head. She teasingly told Haruka, "I guess you had it coming. Too bad for you." Haruka tried to ask who she was, but she just yawned him. She replied that she's getting sleepy and hope he do his best from here, and Haruka was eagerly want to know who is she. Haruka are so confused right now from who that woman and how she able to interfere with his mind. Because of this distraction, he forgot that he had opponent waiting for him. So he decided to ignore this, as wasn't the time to dwell on that. But he need to deal with this thing instead. The divine insight resumed, so the recalculating evaluation points began. Haruka doesn't want to do it again. The Orthros starts to getting wilder. He tried to avoid its attack. Once again, evaluation points added for evading. Upon observing the fire, he knew his body enhancement wouldn't able to withstand it. Not only that, he only had a dull blade that can instantly get melt. So he had no other choice and decided to use his magic circle. Haruka decided to use the power of water. He casted the hydro pressure cannon. This directly hit the Orthros' flame. But there's one thing confuses him again. His intermediate magic seems to be powerful, which unusual. Also, he wonder about the dragon coming out of his magic circle. Haruka was full of confusion of what really happening from the start. But the only thing in his mind is to survive against this ferocious beast. Haruka gave everything he got. This pushes him to his limit and successfully pierced the Orthros. Because of the critical hit he made, he was rewarded with evaluation points. Haruka was glad he landed his final attack. It seems he successfully defeated the Orthros, but he saw it still breathing. He can't believe of its incredible vitality. Since this was the case, he wanted this to get over. He successfully eliminated the Orthros. The divine insight concluded. The system evaluates all the points again, and the total points evaluator for rank is rank A. The system optimized combat experience applied, and the total experience Haruka gained was over 9 million. This made his level increased by 300. He also acquired high-level magic attributes. Haruka slowly understand everything. He used to think measurement and calculation was just a useless skill that only measure objects or time. But now that it's evolved into divine sight, right now, it was able to measure everything and calculates the experience points needed for the next level, and provides efficient methods to earn them, and it also assigns evaluation points based on the level difference with the enemy and actions during combat. It allows him for efficient experience accumulation like it was a godlike skill. He finally realized why he was stuck at level 10 for so long. This is something he wouldn't have known without divine insight. But with this, he can become even stronger. Haruka was so happy that he finally can stop Shinji from his evil doing. But Haruka's body starts to get trembled, his body slowly desegregating towards the ground. He aims to get more level to level up further, because this wasn't enough for him. He need to face stronger monsters and escape from here. Haruka can't defeat Shinji like this. Haruka slowly standing up. He is determined to get stronger. He doesn't want anything bad to happen at Himawara, holding the talisman she gave. This giving him hope to survive and get out of this dungeon. And lastly, to defeat Shinji. Suddenly, he heard her voice again. The water behind him rose up. A monster suddenly appeared, and she said that she can't believe there's a human who'd dare to kill her pup using her power. The weakened Haruka got startled realizing this. She told that she's now full awake thanks to him. Meanwhile, the news had reported that there's an announcement from the Explorers Guild early this morning on the first floor of the dungeon. Himawara can't believe of what she heard at the news, as it reported a D-rank explorer Namiki Haruka was reported dead. Her heart crushed hearing those words. It was added, according to the discoverer Yukimura Shinji, Namiki's body was severely damaged, leaving only a pouch as a relic. Himawara blaming herself for not stopping Haruka from becoming an explorer. Someone suddenly rang her doorbell. She checked who it was. It was Shinji, so he told her that it was long time no see. Himawara asked him why is he here now. Shinji told that he didn't think that he would have to come either, but his intention is to give the Haruka's pouch. Himawara decided to open the door afterwards. Shinji knew the moment Haruka had gone, this happens. She didn't hesitate to open the door. She rushes as she wanted to take Haruka's bag. Shinji was glad she immediately opened the door for him. He suddenly used his skill charm, this binded towards Himawara. Her body weakened after that. Shinji mockingly asked Himawara if there's something wrong. He asked her if she feel unwell. Himawara wondered what he was doing, and she can't collect her strength. Shinji insisted to ask if she was okay. Himawara slapped his hand away from her face. As Shinji expected of an explorer who survived the 12th floor, her willpower is much stronger than the average woman. He then showed Haruka's bag. Shinji said you must have been really shocked by Haruka's death. Himawara thought Shinji were the one behind this. Himawara was so mad as she never thought Shinji was able to do this to Haruka. Shinji has changed while asking her. He was so mad that all this time, she still don't understand. He have been watching Haruka when they were young, a guy that weak and naive fool. He can't afford to think Haruka could find happening and leaving him behind. Since that day, he had a grudge against him. This made him push to do unimaginable things, as he doesn't allow it anymore. For him, Haruka needs to suffer more to despair until he's completely broken. But he decided to finish him off instead. Himawara called him scumbag for losing his mind. Shinji got annoyed to her, so he raises his hand and smirked. He used his gravity bind to her. He got mad as she called him scumbag and freak when he was perfectly normal in his perspective. He said, an A-rank, talented and beautiful Himawara Tachibana, you have so many admirers. Don't let your crude words disappoint them. Shinji thought even in the afterlife, Haruka must be heartbroken. She asked him why he cared so much, but he didn't want to tell as this story bores him now. Then he used his super gravity table at her. Meanwhile, Haruka's still stuck at his situation against the monster behind him. He tried to use his insight skill, but unfortunately, the system detection failed as it has error. This made Haruka wonder what kind of creature it was. She mocked humans for always trying to expose their opponent's secrets. This girl said after what happened last time, she have taken precautions. As she mentioned it, Haruka assumed she faced another explorer before. Right now, he only had simple information about this monster that has a water attribute dragon that speaks human language, but he needs more information than this. She knew he was trying to communicate, but she used to encounter human usually so talkative, but this time, he wasn't saying a thing. So she thought seeing her ramble on one-sidedly doesn't suit her image, and the strong are silent dignified, and yet majestic, but Haruka deny it, because seeing her seemed like the chatty type for him. She frankly asked Haruka if he was mocking him, which Haruka agreed. So she think Haruka doesn't seem to understand his position right now. In order for him to understand, she frankly said he might just kill him. She scolded Haruka that he just because defeated the Orthros, he can get cocky. Haruka didn't waste any time, and he used his body enhancement. He think as this monster on land, he still have a chance. So he is planning to use the divine insight and his skill properly. Haruka poised himself as he doesn't waste any time here. He aims to get stronger quickly and go back to Himawari and defeat Shinji. Haruka's hand was blazing with fire. He is determined to challenge her even though he had no information against her. First, he wants to create a blind spot with fire, then aim for the vital points with a slash. Haruka gathered his energy and channeled the Super Flame Fury Phoenix dance. He's unfazed of the danger, but she seems confused what Haruka thinking. She just laughs at him. She told this is her territory, and the monster lunges at Haruka's skill. He was startled to see his magic dispelled. She explained to him that the only reason he defeated the Orthros was thanks to her power. That means she have taken control of his magic, and nullifying it is simple. As she mentioned control it, Haruka wondered what it was, as he never heard of such a thing before. She was disappointed as humans don't know about it. Moreover, she used her Annihilation class magic. Haruka got startled as she read his thoughts. Not only that, he knew the Annihilation class is higher than Ultimate class. She explained to him that there are 2 ranks higher. There's mythical class between Ultimate and Annihilation. In order to cancel out her magic, he must need a specific mythical class spell. Haruka understand what she meant, that he thought this was a helpful information, and she was telling it freely, as she knew someone like his level isn't a threat for her at all. So she gave him an advice if he want to stand against her. She told that he must need at least level 4000 power in order to do that. As Haruka heard it, he can't believe as this level is absurdly high. Haruka checked his stats. status. He is currently level 452, so he thought even though he have gotten strong enough to defeat the advance Orthros, she's in an entirely differently league, so Haruka wonders what kind of creature he was. Haruka observe and think, but suddenly he realized something. Out of nowhere, she told that she suffered because of that, so she have made thorough preparation last time. Haruka began to thought a high-tier dragon-type monster that has been rampaging in Dungeon City in recent years. These creatures wield with terrifying strength and firepower that able to overwhelm even A-rank explorers. To address the situation, the Explorers Guild organized the Orochi Extermination Squad, gathering talented individuals. During the battle, Orochi's weak points were discovered, and they went on the offensive, yet it has not been defeated. So he recognized this creature highly likely that it's Orochi. He knew he can't defeat it right now, so he plans to find a way to escape. Haruka was thinking of keep talking to it while planning its next move. They keep talking, and Haruka asked why would this girl try to communicate with someone as weak as him. So she explained that she had a simple reason, and this is curiosity of how did such feeble human manage to use her power. She then opened a magic circle to tell the other reason. From the magic circle, her hand merged and showed something that I can't tell. Haruka recognized this one, and he wondered why does she have something like this. He had no other choice, and he asked where did she find it. She told that in a human settlement, when she sent a few of her tails there, one of them happened to pick it up. In Haruka's thought as she mentioned tails, he thought she has others with her. He can even tell the way she talks. Also, the owner of the hand is Orochi's true body, as he assumed. She noticed Haruka quiet again, so she assumed he don't know anything about it. He remembered what she said earlier, where he need to be level 4000 to fight her, but there's no way he can win now. He suddenly used his Divine Insight. So the Divine Insight initiate to measure the target level and calculate the strategy for his level. The system analyzed optimal actions for experience efficiency, which required experience points of 25 million. She noticed him striking. Haruka was determined to fight, even he knew he stand no chance against her.